Loaded with delicious details. The Green Goddess Caprese Milk from Panera.
The thing that I liked the most about Codecademy is that it had everything all together. When I signed up,
Bro, I'm so serious about that. I don't care. I'm never giving YouTube my fucking money just to quit.
Niggas mad because I know the cash moves. Everything around me, 2 block ties. Any motherfucker whispering about mine. And Brooklyn's finest. Violence.
Understand what this shit right here is about. Yeah.
we do.
Alright, hello everybody. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing fine. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm tired. I'm tired, boss. I'm so tired. Thank you for at least giving me the warning, Dubs. I appreciate it. Thanks for making sure I'm awake. I'm awake. Yeah, no, I'm exhausted, but it's a good exhausted. It's a happy exhausted. This past weekend was incredible. Let me turn. There we go. That's a little more balanced. Turn music down a little more. So I can't remember if I explained on stream. I know it was out there to like the Discord and like the community and everything, but on stream I don't know if it was said. So last time I streamed was last Wednesday, the WoW stream. I skipped Friday, almost skipped today, because this past weekend was the final battle, not necessarily the final session, but the final battle in my D&D campaign, which this one has been going on for a little over 4 years. I know I've talked about it before on stream. Oh, was that an ad? I just thought that was the music. I don't know why I'm getting so many fucking ads on this thing. I usually don't for the... Actually, you know what? Oh, Lo-Fi Girl's gone. Oh, where did she and her cat go? Hold on. Oh, where's the fucking... There we go. Window. Fucking Lo-Fi Girl is gone. Her and her cat have disappeared. Weird. Anyways, turn that back up. Yeah, so the campaign's been going on, like I said, for a little over 4 years. It started in fucking hate doing this. July of 2019. And again, we're not technically done. We have like one more session just to like wrap things up. That we kind of got to schedule, but again? What do you mean again? Yeah, so we've still got like one last like official session as like an epilogue. But yeah, second long-term campaign I've done with this group. most of the people in it. And so it's me and 4 players, 2 of which have been playing since the group started, and then 1 came in later, and then the 4th person came in midway during this campaign. Just actually, so the 2 other people that joined kind of did so in the same way, in that at first they played just for like a single session. They just came in for like a 1 session thing, and then it was like, I was a guest, okay, bye-bye. But then eventually became they became permanent members of the group. Oh, the lo-fi girl gone again. Yeah, I guess they have her take a break every once in a while too. I think that is so precious and healthy. Good thing to promote. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, so me and 4 people. If this means anything to anybody, which I know it doesn't mean anything to Max, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Also, thank you for allowing me to know that that those are still working. I still need to figure out how. I don't know at this point where those alerts and everything are hosted, because I was using them for Streamlabs, but I don't use Streamlabs anymore. I just use OBS. Well, whatever. Anyways. Fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah. I don't know if this means anything to anybody who may be watching this at any point. Any D&D nerds. But, we played in the campaign setting Eberron. One of my personal favorites. Also one of the only few that I've done. But, for those who maybe don't know, Eberron's essentially like post-World War fantasy. Like it's still medieval-esque, you know, it's still Dungeons and Dragons. You know, it's swords and armor and bows and you know, horse and carriage and castles and things of that nature. But Eberron has advanced technologically through the use of magic. So they're kind of in that like post-war era of like, there's also, you know, fantasy magical versions of like payphones and elevators and you know, like airships are a thing now. Like one of the races that it introduced, the Warforged, are like sentient robots. You know, and I mean, literally post-war, the setting itself always says that like where your campaign starts is just a few years after the Long War, which was like for some reason I always think the Long War was like over 500 years or something like that, but I remember looking it up recently and it really wasn't. Eberron, the Long War. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not the Long War, it's the Last War. The Long War is something in my game because I'm original. Yeah, it went on from, so the calendar used in Eberron is YK, and it went from 894 to 996. Yeah, so 102 years. Still a long amount of time to be in a war, but in terms of like fantasy stuff, A century usually isn't that long for a particular conflict. But anyways, yes. So it's post the last war. So like World War I era essentially, and so the continent in which it takes place is still like recovering. And it's only, I think it starts like 5 years, because campaigns are supposed to start in 998. So it's such a small amount of time, like just after like an enormous world-changing like political war went on. So like the world is still recovering and adapting to change from that. And all those sorts of things, and I just love it. It's because it's still like D&D fantasy, but just a little more advanced, but also not getting into the territory of like modern fantasy, like my game, which is more or less like modern day, but with that hint of fantasy, or rather, like there are fantasy elements that are explained with like technology. Which I also love. I actually don't. I have to be in a very specific mood for like core fantasy, because like D&D is depending on the setting, but like just basic fantasy is just a little boring to me, because like most of the time, like at least in games that I've run or participated in, most of the time the DM kind of makes some attempts at having to use magic or BS a way for like modern things to like be introduced into it, and it's like at that point just have them. Like, like the old joke of, like coming up with actor names or like saying movies, like movie titles, or making movie references in game and then being like, oh yeah, that puppet show that I watched. And it's like, hey, just say there's like magical movie theaters or something. Like just say that sort of technology's been invented, and just not have to deal with that. On the other hand, since most of what I've done, most of the stories I've created have been in medieval-esque fantasy, I find it very difficult to write modern fantasy, which is great because that's my setting for the game I'm creating. Because I've had to process for so long now, like basically exclusively medieval fantasy, that a lot of the problems and scenarios that I come up with are very easily solved by modern technology, like the internet and cell phones and transportation that's faster than a fucking horse. So it's hard to like justify those things that come up, like the problems that come up in medieval fantasy, or at least I find it hard, because it's like, oh no, how do we find out? Like, we don't know about this thing that we heard. How do we find out about it? Well, my thought is like, well, you have to go ask around or go to like a library or gain access to one and then physically do your research, try to find the right book, try to find the right info. And now I just feel like it's like, oh, how do I find this thing out? Hey, I Googled it and this is the answer. It's that, or it's like, oh shit, we have to get from here to there and we're on this ticking clock. Fuck, that's gonna take us a month to do it. We have to figure out a way how to get there faster or stop this thing or blah blah blah. Like, we don't have time. Now it's like, oh shit, that thing's like 300 miles away. That'll probably take us like a day or two. 300 miles, like that'll take us a day. That'll be like a 10-hour drive or whatever. I have mitigated some of the travel time though, like the transportation stuff with so in my setting, personal transportation is an exceptionally rare thing. So like cars and trucks and things like that. It's not like our modern world where like everybody owns a car. Cities are designed based around streets that have to fit vehicles. Very, very, very few people own something like a car. Like at most, maybe a moped or like a motorcycle. But even then, streets are not designed to like allow for them mostly. So it's still like maybe there isn't even a good way of getting to where you want to go because there isn't a road for it. Most everything is public or like large scale transportation, like buses, trolleys, and trains for long distances. And of course, boats and ships. There is air travel, but there's like one. The actual literal term is race, but for the book they are known as lineages. There's a particular people, the ones who invented like air travel vehicles, but they keep it to themselves. So unless you are an exceptionally well-connected individual or just a member of their society, you're not going to get air travel either. So like players in the campaign can't just take a plane somewhere if it's like 1,000 miles away. Those would become like actual issues. Which the other thing about my setting and about my game that also helps with like kind of getting rid of the issue of players just being able to go wherever they want as quickly as they want. Magic can do almost anything in my game except for 3 things: manipulate time, bring someone back from the dead, and manipulate space. So there is no like teleportation, there's no opening portals, or things like that. I'm debating on that one, because like I want the system to allow players to do whatever they want within the confines of the setting. And again, like if players just had the option to teleport or open a portal whenever they wanted to, like I would imagine it's very hard to write around that. Because my setting, unlike Dungeons and Dragons, where the balancing act for allowing those sorts of things is that it costs spell slots, and usually spells that teleport you or multiple people are very high level, so it'll take you a long time to reach that point, and when you do, your resources to do so are limited, both in use and in capability, right? So that's how they balance things. My game has magic, like one of the only 3 classes you can play. Like all of them cast magic to an extent, but one of them is like the class is called the caster. You know, they're the mage. Their main focus is casting magic. There are no spell slots. There are no mana points. There's no limit to how much magic you can cast in a day. So if I say that magic can teleport and cast and like open portals, there is no amount limiter on that. However, I have different like tiers of spells, So, like, as the spell you wish to cast gets stronger, you know, like the DC to, like the target you need to pass in order for that spell to go successfully gets higher and higher. So I'm thinking of saying, like, yes, it's a thing, but, like, it's an exceptionally powerful and, you know, dangerous, uncontrollable, chaotic form of magic, and just set it to, you know, like the highest, you know, DC for it. So it's like, yes, technically speaking, you could do it whenever you want to. Your roll is going to have to be good enough. To which the additional balance to that my game has, to once again, like, balance out the fact that, like, you can cast magic all day long, just as long as you pass the check for it. The way to prevent people from just constantly rolling until they make it without any worry is the spell Backlash, which essentially says if you make a magic check and you roll 5 or less than the tier of spell you wanted to cast, not only does the spell fail, it fails detrimentally back onto the caster if the spell backlashes. Doesn't necessarily always have to be damage, but essentially the description is, like, for what GMs do with a spell's backlash is it depends on what the purpose of the spell being cast was. Were you trying to make, like, a fireball effect and, you know, the spell backlashed? Okay, then yes, like, in those sorts of things, like, if you're trying to damage someone and it backlashes, likely you're going to damage yourself. You know, but hey, let's say maybe you're trying to use it to, like, enchant somebody's mind and make them more friendly to you, like, you know, bewitching them and charming them, and that backlashes. Well, now you are essentially charmed by them, and you find everything they do as witty and friendly. So that's kind of the two differences, and like I said, like, lately I've kind of been debating about what I don't want to do with, like, spatial magic, because that's also hard to write around for, like, villains and monsters too. Of, like, if nothing can teleport around or, you know, like, rip open portals, then, like, that's really difficult to write good enemies, and big old baddies, and scenarios as well, because, like, it's a pretty stereotypical fantasy scenario of, oh, this organization, this cult is trying to open a portal to blah, or, like, for, like, whatever reason. And it's like, that's a pretty good motivator for an adventure, or a campaign. So there's that. I don't remember why I started talking about that. Speaking of my game, I also did a one-shot a couple weekends ago for Mana's birthday. And this was my first time running, and therefore anyone playing, in a complete rewrite of the entire game. Like, the system I was doing before just got thrown out because it was just getting too convoluted, because I'd been working on it for, oh my god, coming up on 10 years. So it was just messy, and so, like, the best thing to do was to just start over and start from scratch. So I did, and so that was the first time anybody actually played the system that I had written out, and got some good feedback. You know, saw where I needed to make some changes, Thankfully, actually, most of the comments made were more about the character sheet itself, that I did very quickly just to have one for them that day. Just minor changes, and honestly things that I had on the previous version but just forgot to put in. And yeah, the other stuff was just things that I had planned on having in the book anyways, but just didn't have by the point, like, in order. The book isn't finished, still work to do on it. Thankfully, mostly in the lore department and not so much with the, like, mechanics in the system itself. A few things there that still need tinkering and will need playtesting, but that's why we're doing it. But mostly just things that were going to be in there anyways. I just didn't buy the point of us playing that one shot. And a few other things, just like different opinions on certain mechanics and rules and systems of the game that people liked or didn't like or just felt needed to be adjusted, or rewrites and edits that needed to happen in certain sections for clarification reasons. So everyone said they had a good time. You know, no one hated it. I was also taking a lot of comments with a grain of salt. Because since it was a one-shot, and actually 2 of the people who were there that day didn't even know that that's what we were going to be doing. They thought we were going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons. For making characters in, like, I want to say, like, an hour, maybe less than an hour. So not able to, read this entire thing. Not being able to read all this in, the amount of time it would have taken us to get everything done that day. Given that context, I was also, giving them the benefit of the doubt, because there were a few comments about, like, oh, well, like, it would be nice if such and such thing was explained a little better, or if this thing even was in the game, like, I think that would be better. And I would just kind of nod along and be like, okay, like, those things are in there, those things are explained. But again, given the caveat that they didn't get to read the whole book. They had to skim it, and it was basically them looking at the character sheet and based on that seeing what they needed, and then finding that in the book and then making their decisions based on that. So a lot of those sorts of comments I ignored, or told that, or let them know that, like, hey, great idea, I agree, that's why it's in there. Trying to make that comment as nice as possible without sounding like condescending or thinking that they were stupid. Right. But I do need to get the book in a much more finished state. In a state that I at least would be happy, like, handing off to somebody. Because, so the campaign that we wrapped up, that we're about to wrap up, the one I was talking about that I did this last weekend, the group has decided that when we are done with this, we are going to switch from playing Dungeons & Dragons to doing a campaign in my game, The Last Ingress. So, no pressure. Although I was the one who asked. But, so I have to get I have to get the book ready for that part, and at least the outline of a campaign written, and then, you know, like the first section of it pretty well down, and at least the very first session done before we start that. So we're going to talk, and the timing is a little good with it because, you know, the holiday season's coming up, like for us in America, in just a week or two. Yeah, next week, next Thursday is Thanksgiving for us, which is a very big thing here. So a lot of people take that time to spend it with their families. So that may involve travel or other plans, other bits of preparation that need to be done. So we've got Thanksgiving coming up, then we've got Christmas, then we've got New Year's, and then for a couple people in the party who work in schools, the start of the new semester. So likely what we're going to do, like the outline that I'm going to give to the party to be like, hey, this is my plan of what the future is going to be like. How does this sound to everybody? And that's basically going to be, you know, we need to do one more session to wrap things up with where they're going to be at, do a bit of an epilogue, and then that'll be it for this Eberron campaign. We're going to take December off, because again, like, it's my birthday's in there, so it's like my birthday, then Christmas, then New Year's. So it's like, hey, December, just take it off. We'll take a break. You know, we can still, because it's like we're all friends. Like, this is like a friends group that happens to play tabletop games together more than it is like a bunch of people playing a tabletop game who happen to like each other or whatever. Anyways, take December off. You know, still hang out if we wanna, like around the holidays. And then I'm going to take, at the very least, January, the whole month, to work on the book, to work on the game, talk to all of my players individually, to build their characters together, talk about their characters together as in-depth as we can before the start of the campaign. Ask everybody what sort of game they would like to play, like what sort of campaign do they want? Do they want horror? Do they want mystery? Do they want action? You know, what sort of genre do we want to play with these characters? And you know, take at least a month to like just take my time, not have to worry about running a session to session campaign, and just work on everything, and get it all as prepared as I can. And then start either in February, maybe March. You know, like if it starts coming up to the end of January and I'm not comfortable with where everything is, I just need a little more time, you know, I may ask for just another week or two, or just be like, hey, let's give me February as well. We'll for sure start in March. I'm giving myself a very hard deadline of at the latest starting the new game in March. But also offered, you know, like, hey, if anybody, like, we can say we're taking a break, like, in December or whatever, and January. But if one of you guys wants to run something in the meantime, like a very short campaign, or if we just want to do some one-shots on the days we would normally play, then cool. You know, like, I'm not saying we can't play at all. It's just, if we are, I won't be running it. I'm going to be focusing on the Last Ingress and getting that all together. So, that is the next few months for me. And honestly, what I'm focusing on the most. Obviously thinking about stream. But I mean, again, I've told you guys that stream is not something I think of as a profession or a job or anything like that. This is something I do for fun. I try not to worry about it if I need to cancel or move things or whatever, because, well, of course, I want to keep you guys happy and entertained and don't want to become too flaky. I'm not ruining my life and my mental health over a stream that has an average of 2 viewers on a very good day. But that's not to say I don't think about stream at all. I've just thought about... I have stressed much less about having some sort of plan or like a long-term thing. But also because of my experience of doing it now for over a year. Like a year and a half of knowing me and knowing that I very likely... I always say this because I am not diagnosed or anything like that, but very likely have ADHD. And kind of coming to terms with those things and what that means. And while I try to do better, I also have stopped trying to make a lot of promises about what's going to happen on stream because I very rarely follow through. And I understand that. And so I try not to give people expectations of like, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing, because unless it becomes a hyper focus for me, that's just likely not going to happen. I went through my channel the other day, the YouTube channel, and went through all the playlists because I was going to say... What I was going in to do was to change the title of any playlist for a game that I've played on stream. And to add the completed tag if it's a game that I actually played, like, start to finish. And I think I only did that with 2. And I think one of them was only a technicality. There was one game that I found that I was like, oh yes, I did play that start to finish. Oh, and that was Inside, which again is a game that for probably most other people they could finish in a single session. It's only like a maybe 4 to 6 hour game. So I played that start to finish. The credits rolled on that one. And the other one that I put a completed tag on was The Coffin of Andy and Lele. Or Lily. And that's only because we played everything that's out so far, but the game itself isn't completed. So I was like, well, technically it's an ongoing series, but it's not ongoing because of my fault. It's not that I'm not done with it. The creators aren't done with it. So, you know, you finished Pineapple on Pizza. You know what? I did. And I think that's because I think I put that in a... I think I have a playlist for one-offs. Games that I finished like in a single stream because they're meant to be that short. Or I knew I was only going to play for that one stream. Okay, so yeah, so Inside is there. Okay, well, I don't. But I guess I need to start putting games that I only play for one fucking thing in there, regardless of what I say at the end of it, like whether it's intended to be a one-off or whether it became a one-time thing because of my brain. Like Alien Isolation and, so far, System Shock. Like, there's plenty of games that were meant to be like long series, or that I was like, I'm going to play this game, which means I'm going to finish it. And then I just don't. All those hours that went into it. Yeah, all 45 minutes of those hours. And then, you know what? Like, honestly, the ones I feel the most bad for are not the one-offs that didn't intend to be one-offs. Like the things that I said I was enjoying and that will play again, you know, next stream or anything like that. Because that's like, I understand if it's a letdown, but it's also like at least we can get too deep into it. Like, you had the one and it was fun and you hoped for more, but now you're not getting more, so it's like, well, okay. The ones I feel bad on are the ones that I play for a couple streams that I kind of get a focus on, and then they stop. Like, I know you guys were enjoying Baldur's Gate. And again, not that I haven't been. Baldur's Gate was more technical issues than anything, and I understand that. But it was also like, if I thought really hard about it, I probably could have figured out a workaround for us to play it. I have, and should be implementing that soon. So we may actually be getting back into Baldur's Gate. It's those games I feel bad for that I actually play a couple, like, episodes of, like I do for a couple streams. People start liking it and start liking the regularity of it, and then my attention span doesn't, so it gets abandoned. So basically every other playlist, again, for games. So what are some that I have a couple episodes on and then stopped? Oh, so Baldur's Gate 3, every Pokemon game I've tried on stream, the Fire Red Nuzlocke, the Blue Nuzlocke. I think the worst offender of this is probably Birth by Sleep, because I finished... Did I finish it? No, I didn't. I played a lot of Birth by Sleep. Oh, I clicked on it. I didn't mean to. I played 11 episodes of Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep. I streamed it 11 times. And, I was on the wrong tab. I know I played through all of Terra's story and started Ven's story, and then I dropped that. So that was a lot. The Pokemon Puzzle League I played a lot of, but there's no, like, goal to that. There's no story or anything, so I don't feel bad about that one. All of these other ones kind of look like one-shots. Or one-offs. There was Minecraft. I have a couple videos of Minecraft, but... yeah, I got 5 videos of Minecraft. And then, I know I have a bunch for I have 3 Killer Instinct ones. But again, like, those games aren't, like, episodic. Oh, I never finished Stray. I only did 2 streams of that? That makes sense. I was surprised at how disappointed I was in Stray. Stray was one that I didn't even finish, like I didn't even finish. That wasn't something that I, like, played off stream, played both on and off stream, and then, like, didn't finish it on stream because I finished it off stream or anything like that, or finished it off stream, like, you know, without finishing it here. I just didn't finish it. That one really lost me. I was so excited for that game because, like, yeah, you get to walk around and explore and do puzzles as a cat. And then it just got so boring. And even, like, the world building's great, like, the robots and everything, but, like, I don't know, there was just something about it that I just got so bored with. Yeah, BG3 was fun, but with the tech issues, I think it was better to put it on hold. Hey, yeah, and that's, I hope that's what it is. I hope it is a on hold thing and not a permanent thing. I'm gonna try some stuff. I have one of my friends gifted me a laptop. Mainly because they spilled some water on the laptop that I have, but even though we got it cleaned up and there were no issues with it, and it still works perfectly fine, he felt so bad about it that he's giving me one of his old work laptops that he doesn't use anymore. So it's like, and I told him, I was like, man, that's really nice of you. My laptop works fine. You didn't actually do anything to it. I'm not gonna say no to a free computer either. So the plan is, I'm gonna get that laptop set up and also used as like a second monitor. And I'm going to run games on the PC that I'm using right now. And use use my capture card with the and stream from the laptop, which with the specs he gave me should very well be able to handle streaming and capturing a video. So I just got to get that set up and get that in here. So that way, hopefully, like just this one PC isn't running Baldur's Gate 3 at high qualities, and streaming and recording, because I also record all of my streams. That's how I get them up on YouTube. Because I also don't want to, like, obviously I know Twitch saves VODs, but I don't want to continuously download a VOD of all of my streams. And OBS has it to where you can just record as you're streaming. So, yeah, so I understand it's very much for a even, like, decent quality custom PC, relatively difficult to handle all of that. So if some of that workload can be offhanded or supplemented by a second computer, then there we go. Should be able to do it. Which also means there should be some streams where I play games that I otherwise didn't think I would be able to for stream. Because I knew the PC wouldn't be able to handle everything all at once. Although I have been surprised at some stuff that, like, because I didn't even think ahead about streaming Baldur's Gate 3, or honestly even playing it on the PC. And it's one of the most, like, intensive games out there right now. That even, like, higher end stuff is having a bit of a difficulty handling. But mine handled it pretty fine. Well, like, actually, I had everything at ultra quality and all the cool settings and the ray tracing turned on while I played it by myself. So I didn't even think about it for streaming. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll play it. I'll pull up OBS and go live. But then we saw how that went. And also, I don't want you guys just looking at the medium quality. It looks like shit, especially because our character, our Tav, has facial hair, and facial hair looks terrible in that game at lower qualities. So it'd be nice to be able to play it at those higher qualities and not have to worry about stream, like, affecting any of that. And again, this is all hopeful. I think I'm still going to play WoW on Wednesday. I'm on the fence about whether that bug is still there or not. I think it is. It's definitely not as strong as it was like a week or two ago, but I enjoyed myself. It was a fun stream, so I'm going to do it again. And I guess we'll just see how it goes. So if I do that on Wednesday, then the earliest Baldur's Gate will possibly back on stream will be on Friday. Who knows? Maybe I'll get that shit set up, see that it's working, and just be so excited for Baldur's Gate that we just do it on Wednesday. I don't know. Again, as usual with things, I'll announce whatever I'm doing in the Discord as soon as I know that that's what we're going to do as possible. I actually haven't counted how many games I've played on stream. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, about 24. About 24 games on stream. That's neat. Right? See, we've played... I've played World of Warcraft, The Coffin of Andy and Lily, Inside, System Shock 2, Alien Isolation, Baldur's Gate 3, Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Blue, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, WWE 2K22, Fallout 76, Pokemon Puzzle League, Overwatch 2, Deep Rock Galactic, Limbo, The Last of Us, Dauntless, Paper Mario, Minecraft, Stray, Killer Instinct, both the original and the new version, which are 2 separate games. And Super Smash Brothers. And Tetris Attack. Oh, and Burnout. I saw a stream titled Feeling the Burnout, and I didn't even think of that as a game. I was just like, yeah. But yeah, so I think that was around like 24 games. If I ever edit this, here they are. Man, it honestly felt like more than that. But also, now that I'm thinking about it, 24 games, that is a lot of games. Although none of them are finished, that is a lot of games. I don't know, man. Oh. Yeah. My YouTube channel doesn't do great. Which, I mean... No shit. My stream isn't that big either. My most watched video, if I sort by popular, has 308 views. That is my most viewed video, 308. And then the next down from that is 31. And that was the first episode of Andy and Lily, which makes sense. It's the first time, and not even like purposefully, but this is the first time that I've like played a popular new game like while it was popular. So I know that's why it even got that bit of a spike. But so what is the oldest? Oh wow, that was a while ago. Yeah, plenty of videos with single digit views or still or no views. Plenty of them. Also, I don't know how many videos I have though. I guess I could see that in my YouTube studio. Go to videos. Rows per page. Oh, it says so 1 through 30 of about 172. And so 172 videos. 172 videos, but not 172 streams. Because some of these are, like, I've got a 10-second video here, which honestly should be a YouTube short, but I think I did this before shorts were really, like, a popular thing. January of this year. Yeah, I made a highlight video back in March. The clip show. I think that's it, though. And I had some shorter stuff, like near the beginning of stream, too. Like the beginning of when I started everything. Like the first video, like on the YouTube channel is a highlight, which for now is the only existing evidence of the very first stream I ever did. Which was, I guess, the same day. I guess I made that video on the same day. Because the description says highlights from the March 22nd, 2022 stream. Oh, no, it's just highlights for that. When did I actually upload it, then? When was this uploaded? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Although I can't just go to it.
Hello!
Wow. You want to see something? There's very first stream ever Sirius. And Mana. But, yeah, very first stream ever. Yeah, that was in the old room. I don't know if I did... Oh, what am I saying? I was about to say, I don't know if I did any streams in that room since then. I did plenty of fucking streams in that room. Gotta love the Cyberlink Power Director at the bottom. When did I switch rooms? When did that happen?
Hey, everybody.
Sort by oldest. I know I did the ranch ramen in that old room. Oh. Okay, I get pied in the face. I know that. I know... Oh, it's literally called New Stream Space. Okay. That was like July of last year. I'm gonna do something I haven't done in a very long time. Which surprises me. But I will be right back.
Splishy splashy. Let me see any other streamer who can be shitting and still entertaining. Look at that sponge. Look at that fucking sponge. Sponge, 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 sponge. Sponge, 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 spongy sponge, 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 sponge. Did I mention the sponge? I really hoped that was going to read it as spoonge. Spoonge. Sponge. God damn it.
We had a new Japanese market have a what do they call it? A soft opening a couple weeks ago. That Mana and I went to the other day or last week. Jesus Christ, I cannot. Okay, hold on. Hands. A new Japanese market that opened up recently. Mana and I went to, and it was really good. Really well priced. I mean, I was talking to Dart about the jump scare this weekend, and he was like, man, you gotta up that price back up, man. You gotta up that price again. You've made it way too cheap. But I told him, I was like, yeah, I did it because, like, you know, at first it was only as a donation. You only ever got to play that if you donated bits. And because my mind frame was, hey, if you fucks are gonna have the power to jump scare me at any time, I better be getting paid for it. And then no one paid for it. And I was like, well, I don't want it to be, like, not used ever. So then I made it a channel point redemption, but I made it, whatever it was, like 50K. And then, like, every one of you guys was like, hey, you have a core audience of 3 people, and all of us have been watching since the beginning. We all have that many channel points to spare. But then it did, and then you spent them all, and it dropped off to once again never being used. So I was like, okay, well, I won't make it cheap, but I'll make it something that can at least be done if you're watching stream constantly. Oh, I thought that was for scary time and you forgot. Nope. It's been 1,000 channel points for a while. That I do remember. I remember you finally achieving it and using it, and I'm pretty sure it worked. I don't remember the stream or anything, but it's out there. And Dart did it a couple times too, but he did it by paying. So I didn't get too mad. I couldn't be too mad. I don't know. I'm thinking about, I don't know. Because here's the problem. Here's my problem with it right now, okay? I don't have a problem with it. I'm fine leaving the power of jump scaring me in your guys' hands. But I do want to raise the price again. Not because... How do I put it? It's, and I mean, you've seen it today, Dubs. Like, it is now low, like 1,000 channel points for the people who are here and the people who are using it. Like, I'm sure 1,000 channel points is probably fucking nothing to you. Like, I'm sure it takes a chunk out each time, but, like, you're willing to do it. Which is fine. But the problem is I'm so used to it now. And so now I feel like it's lost its value. So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe I need to adjust it. Not back up to 50. I don't think I'm not going to raise it all the way up to 50K again. But maybe 5. Maybe raise it from 1 to 5. Just because even for you, Dub, someone who is a dedicated viewer to this fucking stream for whatever reason that I appreciate and adore. 50K is not unreasonable, but definitely not easily achievable. know? So, if I remember to do it, I'll do it. But yeah, I just noticed that, like, I'm just getting too used to it. It's lost its flavor. It doesn't feel like it's that valuable anymore. Need to make it a little more rare. Need to make it a little more rare, like a good steak, you know what I'm saying? So I'll probably put it at 5K. Dubs, out of curiosity, how many channel points do you have right now? Where are you at? Because I'll say, like, on the streamer that I watch, and he doesn't, like, he's got, like, 3 very basic things for channel point redemptions, but none of them are really worth it. I very rarely expend my channel points on his channel. I watch him fairly regularly, and I'm at, I think, around 53K. 49K. Gotcha. So you watch me about as much as I watch that other guy. That's... Wow. That's actually incredible, thinking about that. That's actually really heartwarming, because I love that other streamer. I don't, hit every single one of them. There's other things I gotta do on some of those nights. I miss streams, but I watch him about as regularly as I can, and I love all of his content. And to think that there's at least one other person out there who, at least by watch time, and channel point accumulation, feels the same about mine is really cool. That's really cool. And, like, not to get sappy and emotional on stream, but, like, you dubs are honestly one of the big reasons I keep doing this, and, like, why I've come back to try and do it more regularly and everything, because I know my other friends care, and the other people in the community, find me entertaining. But no one's here for stream like you are, man. Literally, like, every single day. Every single time I stream, you're here. Or at least, like, you, even on days where you can't be, you, like, give me a heads up ahead of time, or will pop in to be like, hey, man, just wanted to come in and say hi, but I can't be on stream today, but have a good one. Like, holy shit. Literally no one else does that. Again, there are a couple people who I know support me, like, in their own ways and everything. Dart, Fallen, Mana and everything, like, they're my, like, personal in real life friends, and I understand they have, like, they are busy, they have their jobs, they have their lives, and they pop in and support when they can, but not all the time, and that's fine. And just like other people that we've accumulated, like Squoose, who, granted, again, like, Fallen, like, brought into stream, but, like, Squoose was here for a very long time and then hasn't been. Gumber was here at the very beginning and was here for a while, but he had to leave for, he's been, like, off Twitch and everything, dealing with, like, personal life stuff since then. Like, people come and go, but, like, anytime I'm, like, thinking about doing something for stream, or thinking about, like, oh, I'm gonna put that in the Discord, the anxiety and depression part of my brain, which is most of it, are like, why bother? No one cares, no one's watching, no one's going to vote, no one's going to interact. And then the small light part of my brain is like, dubs will. And that's not even putting, like, any pressure on, like, I hope it doesn't feel like pressure on you to do any of that, but it's like, honestly, what has kept me going every fucking time that I've wanted to quit and just stop because it hasn't felt worth it has been thinking about your viewership. Because I know pretty much anytime I go live, I can expect at least you to be here. And honestly, on the days you can't make it, as fully as I understand it, and you should not feel pressure to always catch stream. If I go live and it's a day where, like, as usual, no one's here, but then I don't even see dubs in chat, those are the days where I'm like, gonna be a short stream today, buddy. It's I'm going for another hour, and if someone doesn't come in, I'm done. Just because, like, hey, like, plenty of people stream to 0 viewers, and if that's what they want to do, it's fine. But what I love about streaming is the interaction with chat, which unfortunately only comes with a larger audience, which I do not have. But that's what I love about Twitch. Like, I'm not just gonna sit here and play games and talk to myself. I don't do that. Most of what I do in my free time is like watching YouTube and like, but not even like reacting to it, because I don't want to do that. I want to sit here and I just want to be entertained. Or I want to go spend time with Mana. And if stream isn't keeping me from that, then I'm gonna go do those things. But like today, I thought I was gonna be live for like, I didn't even think if I was gonna go live, and then I did, and it's basically just been you and me here today. Which again, okay, but that's also my point. If I got on here and it's a day like today where I didn't have any ideas for stream and it was just gonna be, hey, I'm gonna get on and ramble, and if I feel like I'm done, I'm just gonna get off. If it was just me, that would have been a 15-minute stream. Wouldn't have even counted it. Wouldn't have gone up on YouTube. I would have just been done and like gone grocery shopping for dinner with Mana. But because you're here, because I had one person to entertain, I've been rambling my ass off for an hour and a half. Almost the length of a normal stream. I always try to stream till 6 o'clock my time for 2 hours. But because I had one person here, I'm gonna do it. And usually that one person's you. That VIP you got is never, ever going away. You would have to do some pretty heinous shit in this community for me to ever take away the VIP or ban you or time you out or any of that sort of shit. It would have to get bad, and I don't see that happening. You never fucking know. I've also had plenty of friends in my life who meant the world to me for like 2 or 3 years, and then some shit happened that I never thought would happen. But as far as I'm concerned, that VIP's never going away. And that first subscriber badge will always be with you on this channel no matter what. And you fucking deserve that one. You've been a huge supporter of me, and it has meant everything to me. It literally, like I said, literally the only reason you coming to stream and the amount of money I and other people have put into stream are the only reason I've continued. Because again, it's obviously not for the money or the attention or anything like that. It's at this point, stream has boiled down to, well, I had someone buy me an expensive gift for Christmas in the form of a capture card. I spent $400 on this fucking microphone, $100 on this mic arm. Someone gifted me an incredible PC that's been able to play games and stream at the same time, or to play games and stream. I've bought cameras, I've bought lights, and people have donated their money to this stream by either just through donations and bits, the subscriptions that I've gotten. So if I stopped, it would be throwing all that away. Oh, and dubs. That's been mostly it. And again, I am having fun. I still, at the end of the day, don't think... If I was hating stream, I would stop. I did for a while. You guys know this. I stopped this year for about 6 months. Came back for about a month. Skipped another month. Came back halfway through October only because I was like, no, I want to do at least something for Sirius Darkstar this year, because I don't want to look back next year and see that I couldn't muster up at least a single stream in October for it. I didn't want the playlists I didn't want to have a playlist for Sirius Darkstar 2022 and then suddenly have one like nothing for 2023 and then maybe something in 2024 and just be like, why did I skip a year? Like, I couldn't even do something I couldn't do a single stream for October last year. That fucking sucks. And also just starting to get in those mindsets of, I'll look back at things and projects and hobbies and whatever that I started months, years ago, and see that I dropped them for whatever reason. And I keep having the thought of, wow, imagine where I'd be at if I would have kept up with that. Like, wow, imagine if I had kept painting minis like I had a hyperfixation on, and I stopped because I was shitty at it. Imagine if I had just kept going with that, how good I would be in a year. How good I would have been by now a year later. Or how good or finished something would have been at this point if I would have just kept at it. So I don't want stream to become another one of those regrets of me dropping and not putting time into. I want to look back and be like, wow, I've been streaming for 3 years. Not, I could have been streaming for 3 years. I have to say to you, I'm always looking forward to it every day that you stream. Man. Man, now you're making me tear up. I don't think I've ever cried on stream before. I've tried not to. I know I've gotten emotional before and probably pretty close, but I don't think I've ever, like, actually cried on stream before. Man, you have no idea. You have no idea how much that actually means to me, because I struggle every single day with my self-worth and finding value in myself. I hate myself. Even though I've made a lot of progress and I am good at things and I have been losing weight and all this and that, and I have achieved a lot of things, and people do like the creative things that I make. My brain won't allow me to accept that. It is literally an impossibility for me to accept, to hear someone to say, like, hey, that thing that you made, that thing you do, I like that. Every time someone says that, my brain's like, they're lying. They're lying to you for whatever reason it comes up with. I cannot process the feeling of how I feel about things that I like translating to me. Like earlier when you told me your channel points, and again I was like, wow, that's about the same as I have for Pay Money Wubby, the streamer that I watch. Thinking of somebody out there, even just one person, liking me as much as I like Wubby is yeah, that's something that not even my brain can shut down. It's still saying it. There's still a voice in there telling me that you're lying, or that it's not as true as I'm processing it as. But I'm not allowing that this time. I'm not allowing that negative voice to tell me that. And just knowing that there's at least one other person out there who's telling me and legitimately looks forward to any time I stream. That in and of itself is fucking incredible. But to also know and to understand, because you say it every fucking time, that you're also okay when I have to skip. And again, it's like, I know, there's a sadness in this or disappointment, but it's not disappointment in me. It's just disappointment at missing out on that. But then feeling that and not switching to anger, like a lot of people on the internet do, and get mad at me or blame me or anything, just to, again, today, specific example, I was like, hey, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to stream, I'll let you guys know. And then being like, hey guys, like, I'll stream, but it's not gonna be like a whole thing. I'm probably just gonna get high and like ramble and like watch some videos or something. And you were like, hey, that's fine. Or if you need to take the day off, that's fine. That also means a lot too. So again, thank you. Oh, it's hot in here. What is it? Humid. There's moisture building up in my oculars. With all that being said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there for today. End it there a little early. I'm not gonna like get into like watching videos right now or anything. I'd just be watching like one or two and then I'd be done. I'm gonna go figure out dinner and shit with my wife. So as always, thank all of you who were here. So thank you, Dubs. I'll miss you guys. I'll be live on Wednesday, whether it's WoW or Baldur's Gate or whatever the fuck I'm gonna be doing. As far as I'm concerned in this moment, I will be live on Wednesday. So hope to see you guys then. Check out the video tomorrow. Love you guys.